Hello everyone, I am Venus Frank and you are watching Laputra YouTube channel. Today we are discussing about the topic Article 13 Doctrine of Severability and Doctrine of Eclipse. Our constitution ensures fundamental right to the citizens. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that the responsibility of the legislature is not just to provide the fundamental right but also rather than more importantly to safeguard them. The date of the adoption of our constitution is 26 January 1950 and part 3 of the Indian constitution deals with the fundamental right. The fundamental rights are operative from the date of the adoption of our constitution only. Article 13 clause 1 of the Indian constitution deals with pre-constitutional laws. There were many different laws present before the constitution came into being and remained in effect after that. Article 13 provides that those laws existing prior to the constitution which are consistent with the fundamental right are valid. If it is inconsistent with the fundamental right, then it is void. For more clarity on this topic, let's have a look into two doctrines which are related to Article 13. Doctrine of severability and doctrine of eclipse. First, doctrine of severability is, which means to separate. It's also known as separatability. All pre-constitutional laws go through this doctrine and separate whether it is consistent or not. If it is consistent, it's not violating the fundamental right of the citizen. Those laws will exist as valid. And this is the doctrine of severability or separatability. A very important case regarding this doctrine is A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. In this case, Section 14 of Preventive Detention Act was challenged. According to Section 14, if any person is detained under this act, he cannot disclose ground of detention in the court. So, Section 14 was against the fundamental right. If you apply the doctrine of severability here, the Section 14 was inconsistent with the fundamental right. So, it must be invalid and remaining act of the preventive detention shall remain as the valid. The other doctrine of the Article 13 is doctrine of eclipse. Eclipse, which means to hide, to shadow something. Let's understand this through a case. In case of Bikaji versus State of Madhya Pradesh, Berar MV Act was challenged. There were certain sections in this act which empowered the state government to transfer the ownership of all of the motor business to itself. After 1950, that means after the constitution came into force, all those provisions become violative of Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause G of the Indian Constitution. So, here we will filter out the whole act first and remove all those sections which are inconsistent with the fundamental right. Then we will apply doctrine of eclipse. We will say that fundamental right will prevail over these sections, meaning that all these sections become inoperative. What happened next is that Article 19 was amended and the government was authorized to monopolize certain business. So, these sections which were inoperative because of Article 19 will now become active. So, basically, the doctrine of severability says that all pre-existing laws shall be filtered out with respect to fundamental right. All those laws which consistent with the fundamental right shall become valid. And now we come to next step, that is doctrine of eclipse. Now all those laws which cannot pass this filter, which were separated, which are invalid or inconsistent with the fundamental right, shall be shadowed by the fundamental right. And this fundamental right would eclipse them, hide them, meaning that they shall not cease to exist but only become inoperative. If any amendment take place in future and all those fundamental rights become consistent with fundamental right, they will again become active. So, Article 13 Clause 1 deals with pre-constitutional laws and Article 13 Clause 2 deals with post-constitutional laws, the laws that came into existence after the Indian Constitution. The state cannot make such laws which are against the fundamental right. If such inconsistent laws are made, they shall be void. To what extent they would be void shall be defined by the application of these two doctrines. Then, Article 13, Clause 2 deals with a case, State of Gujarat versus Ambika Mills. In this case, a certain labor welfare fund was challenged. It contained certain questions which were against the fundamental right. Now it is clear that after constitution came into effect, the state did not have the power to pass a law which is against the fundamental right. The question in this case was that fundamental rights are available to citizens, and what about non-citizens and companies? In this case, the respondent was a company who was not granted the fundamental right. In respect of that, would this act be valid or not? The Supreme Court said that because the fundamental rights are not granted to companies, this section will still be operative for non-citizens. Basically, the state is prohibited from making any laws which are against the fundamental right. Even if such law is made, it shall not be applicable on the citizens. But all those categories of parties which have not been granted the fundamental right, like companies, non citizens, for them that piece of legislation is still operative. This is not void, that is valid. And I hope you are clear with Article 13 Clause 1 and 13 Clause 2 of the Indian Constitution. And let's move on to Article 13 Clause 3 and 13 Clause 4. For the purpose of Article 13, the law is defined as including an ordinance, order, bylaws, regulation, notification, custom or usage. It includes the administrative order issued by the executive officer and does not include administrative directions and departmental instructions. So, the term law include all laws in force, that is custom and usage. Personal laws of Hindus, Muslims, Christians are excluded from the definition of law. In the Shankari Prasad versus Union of India case, the Supreme Court said that the meaning of law under Article 13 does not include the constitutional amendment, so constitutional amendment cannot be challenged. In Golaknath case, the Supreme Court overruled this decision and the constitutional amendment can be challenged. In order to remove the difficulty created by the Supreme Court in the decision in the Golaknath case, the Constitution created 24th Amendment Act 1971 was enacted. By this amendment, a new clause was inserted, Article 13 Clause 4 to the Indian Constitution. It makes it clear that constitutional amendments passed by under Article 13, Article 368 shall not be considered as law within the meaning of Article 13 and therefore cannot be challenged as infringing the provisions of Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. And validity of the Constitution 24th Amendment was considered by the Supreme Court in Keshavananda Bharati case. The court overruled the Golaknath case and upheld the validity of the said amendment. That's all about this topic, and I hope you all understand about these topics, and thank you.